Have you ever been out for a trip or just walking, so you start to get tired and you try to find a bench to sit down on, only you can't? Or all you can find are these weird leaning bars that still kind of force you to stand? Congrats, you have been a victim of hostile architecture. It includes spikes on ledges, anti-sleep benches, security cameras, and even sprinklers. Often, cities choose to remove benches and other public structures and replace them with these alternatives in order to deter homeless people and loitering. They claim that this is a form of tough love that encourages the homeless to seek help and sleep in shelters rather than in the open. However, I, along with other critics, argue hostile architecture is superficial and that by prioritizing exclusion over public welfare, it is an ethical design failure. Hostile architecture plays into the idea of the matrix of domination, a term coined by Black feminist scholar Patricia Hill Collins. According to her, people experience and resist oppression on 3 levels: the level of personal biography, the group or community level of the cultural context created by race, class, and gender, and the systemic level of social institutions. What it essentially refers to is how race, class, and gender are interlocking systems of oppression that also intersect with capitalism and white supremacy. These systems are experienced simultaneously by individuals who exist at their intersections, and it is these individuals that are often erased or disadvantaged by universalist design principles. Many of the individuals that hostile architecture seeks to displace fit into this matrix. According to political geographer Don Mitchell, homeless people are in a double bind. For them, socially legitimated private space does not exist, and so they are denied access to public space and public activity by the laws of a capitalist society as anchored in private property and privacy. This means that hostile architecture will never fully address the problem of homelessness because of how complex its driving factors are. Also, if anything, according to Georgia Tech professor Robert Rosenberger, hostile architecture makes life more dangerous for the homeless because it pushes them out of public spaces and into more isolated and hazardous parts of the city. So not only is it ineffective, but it actually makes homelessness worse by hiding it. It works alongside anti-homeless laws that criminalize the homeless, and according to scholars such as Sarah Schindler, it should also be regarded as a type of regulation. Exclusion through architecture should be subject to scrutiny that is equal to that afforded to other methods of exclusion by law. As an example, the New York City Transit actually went viral a few years ago because they removed benches from the subway stations, citing that the reason they did so was to prevent the homeless from sleeping on them. In a viral response on Twitter or X, a user sarcastically provided a subtext: "We have inconvenienced you and made the station more inaccessible to the pregnant, disabled, and elderly, but you must understand that lets us inflict further misery on people without homes." The original tweets have been deleted, but still brings up an important idea. By implementing hostile architecture, cities are negatively impacting a huge portion of the public. This actually has a formal definition. According to the Interaction Design Foundation, the curb cut effect refers to the fact that designs created to benefit people with disabilities often end up benefiting a much larger user group. It originates from when curb cuts and roads were originally created to benefit people in wheelchairs, but it ended up also helping people with strollers, bikes, and more. Nowadays, it's no longer even thought of as an accessibility feature, but simply the most logical way to design sidewalks. The same should go for public structures such as benches. For instance, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, it's estimated that almost 20 million adults in the US cannot or have extreme difficulty walking just a quarter of a mile. And when you include people who have limited physical abilities, such as standing for long periods, this number nearly doubles. So as the curb cut effect demonstrates, inclusive design benefits everyone, and that instead of providing superficial solutions such as hostile architecture, cities must invest in solutions that address the root causes of homelessness and inequality, and provide public spaces that prioritize accessibility and humanity.